Donald Trump is clearly obsessed with Barack Obama.
He's got some weird obsession with trying to get rid of anything that Barack Obama and Joe Biden created.
I've been wondering for years why Trump is obsessed with Barack Obama.
Obama's done a lot of bad things, especially black jobs. It became a black job when he was president.
Trump just doesn't give up, does he? He just doesn't give up. He cannot stop thinking about Obama. He is obsessed with Obama. Not even like he gets on Joe. He's always in competition with Joe Biden, but not like Obama. Obama lives in his head rent-free.
Stunning breaking news as Donald Trump lashes out because you know why? Obama is more popular than him and he doesn't like it. And take a look at this.
Trump, in a clear state of mania, posted about Obama more than 50 times the other night. He's deranged, he's obsessed, he's mentally declining at a rate that we cannot even keep up with.
The president posting about the Obamas like a Klansman at 1 a.m.
Barack Obama really triggers Donald Trump. He triggers him because he's more articulate and a better speaker. He triggers him because he's more athletic and more fit. He triggers Trump because Obama is globally respected, even if you didn't like everything that Obama did.
What is his obsession, by the way, with crowd size? You notice that? He's always worried. This is the one measure he has of success. He's still worrying about his inauguration crowd being smaller than mine. It really bugs him. He's still talking about that. Does he have nothing better to worry about? Did no one come to his birthday party when he was a kid? Was he traumatized?
Just in case you were wondering how upset or jealous Trump must be of Obama's presidential library in Chicago, here's just a tiny example that may give us a glimpse into how he's feeling. Trump posted to Truth Social this AI-generated image of the Obama Presidential Library. He writes, the Barack Hussein Obama Library in 10 years when fully matured. Talk about an immature temper tantrum, but you shouldn't throw stones when you live in a glass house, even if it's a glass White House. Because we don't have to wait 10 years to see Trump's projects turn into living nightmares that we, the American people, paid for. For example, look at what he did to the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. That didn't take years to destroy, no. Trump did that in a matter of weeks. Not only did the pool get covered in algae, essentially making the reflecting pool green, but that blue paint that Trump was so adamant about is now chipping off in the reflecting pool. I wonder how much that's going to cost us, the American taxpayers, to repair. I never thought that paying for Trump's swamp would be on my 2026 bingo card. Alas, here we are. Instead of him draining the swamp like he promised he would, he's just creating swamps on our dime.
He's always in competition with Joe Biden, but not like Obama. Obama lives in his head rent-free, in his hair rent-free. Obama's in his hair rent-free because, you know, Donald got like 3 different hairstyles. But he really, really thinks about Obama all the time. That's in his mind. That is why I think there's so much racist that he's doing, like blatant racist, like the erasing of Black history, putting back statues, renaming forts back to racist names and shit like that. He got Obama in his head. I think his presidency is based on Obama. It ain't even Joe Biden. But Joe Biden's just a little hurdle. But he always just sees Obama because he knows Obama was way cooler than him. He could never come close to how smooth and cool Obama was. So he even said the immunity that he has, Obama benefited because Obama had a bunch of crimes.
He's done criminal acts, there's no question about it. But he has immunity and it probably helped him a lot.
Yeah, he benefited from it. Obama benefited from, he has a lot of crimes.
I really believe that no politician is perfect. Everybody had some fucked up shit in their administration. You know, all governments are organized crime. But Trump, you can't even organize your crime, bro. Real shit. Obama has got to be sitting back just like, this guy just can't stop talking about me. He wants me to engage. He wants me to engage. But I want this guy to sink. I want him to around and find out, because it's what he's doing to the country. It's a shame. The guy is old. He's dementia. He shits his pants and he's shitting on the whole country. I mean, he's a goddamn joke. And I'm going to sit back because I can guarantee you he's talking about 2028 to run again. If he does, I'm going to say, Alfred, get me my suit.
If I were named Obama, I would have had the Nobel Prize given in 10 seconds. He got the Nobel Prize. He didn't even know what the hell he got it for. Remember, he got elected. Well, so did I. He got elected, and they announced he was getting the Nobel Prize. Remember, he said, "Oh, what did I do?" He didn't know what the hell he did. He got the Nobel Prize for doing nothing. For getting elected, but I got elected too. And, if I think of that, we did something, the Abraham Accords, unprecedented. Nobody thought it was possible. And I'm not saying want or not. I'm just saying if it was anybody else, liberal, Democrat, they would have had it before the damn thing was even signed, So there has to be fair, and I don't care, but I'm not looking for it. I'm not politicking for it. I'm just saying that there's a lot of unfairness in this world, and I think
Donald Trump just called Barack Obama a stupid son of a bitch at the G7 in front of the entire world.
But oh my God, look at this money he's giving us. He tried to bribe his way out. I didn't do that. Nobody mentions that. 1.7 billion and hundreds of millions of dollars. They tried to bribe their way out of it. And you know what the Iranians did? They laughed at Obama and they said he's a stupid son of a bitch. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
They called him a stupid son of a bitch after giving less than $2 billion. Imagine what they're going to be calling you, Donald Trump, after you gave them over $325 billion. The audacity to call an ex-sitting president a stupid son of a bitch on a national forum. Can you imagine what these people must think of our country? Disrespect for the Obamas is disturbing. They are obsessed with the only black president couple. Mental illness.
No more than MAGA being obsessed with Michelle Obama's genitalia. I mean, the UFC fighter last night was commenting on whether she was a man, and the White House nor the UFC condemned the remarks. That said, I don't think Trump is quite living rent-free in our heads. More so, he's taking a wrecking ball to our collective conscience and dismantling any sort of normalcy or civility we've had since he came into office. And unlike the Obamas, who haven't been in office in nearly a decade, Trump is still the sitting president of the United States. His decisions affect you and I and hundreds of millions of Americans from his policies. It's only natural that we care about what he's doing and unfortunately have to look at the train wreck that happens every single day.
When Obama got it, hear the headlines, President Obama gets the Nobel Prize. When Obama got it, like in his first couple of weeks, and nobody knew why he got it, including him. Remember, he couldn't tell you why. He won the Nobel Prize. Well, do you know this? Can you believe it? He won the Nobel Peace Prize. They probably will never give it to me, even what I'm doing in Korea and Idlib province and all of these places. They probably will never give it to me. You know why? Because they don't want to. I think I'm going to get a Nobel Prize for a lot of things because they gave it out fairly. Which they...
Trump, in a clear state of mania, posted about Obama more than 50 times the other night. He's deranged, he's obsessed, he's mentally declining at a rate that we cannot even keep up with. A reporter asked him yesterday, was he going to make a deal with Iran because of Americans' financial strain due to this war? And for the first time since he has become president, he told the truth. He literally said he doesn't care about Americans not being able to afford bread. Not even a little bit. He doesn't care about Americans not being able to afford gas. He doesn't. He said, I only think about one thing, Iran having a nuclear weapon, which we all know is a lie, because he is obsessed with and unhinged about Obama and Biden. He needs to be concerned. Gas has literally doubled since the war in Iran has started. And Trump is saying he's going to suspend federal gas tax to bring down the cost of gas, but he has to get congressional approval to do that. And that's going to cost $500 million a week. All while our national debt is rising at an astronomical rate. It is set to hit $40 trillion with a T before the midterms. The midterms are in just 6 months. And that is more than double our national debt since Trump first took office in 2017. I know that's just a number to some of us, but let me put it in perspective for you. A higher national debt affects interest rates for people, us regular people, us regular Americans. That affects our interest rates on mortgages, cars, credit cards. A higher national debt drives up the everyday cost of things like groceries, goods, services. A higher national debt reduces funding for Social Security, Medicaid, and we all know that disproportionately affects our most vulnerable society. A higher national debt raises income taxes, sales taxes. It reduces the government's ability to respond to like the recession that we're inevitably going in. It reduces the government's ability to respond to like national emergencies. There's an attack happening on our democracy as we speak, and it's an inside job. Intelligent and thoughtful voting is the only way out of this, and we have to make sure that we vote early and in every single election that we have the opportunity to. The primaries are happening all over the country right now, and we have 6 months until the midterms. Know who and what is on your ballot. My name is Augusta Renee, and I hope you have the day you voted for. And if you didn't vote, you're going to have the day that somebody else did.
So President Obama's library is set to open on Juneteenth. And of course, Donald Trump is just so obsessed with Obama. He had to demonize the project altogether. So, it was built over budget and the design is jacked up and I would have got a better deal on this and I would have done this better and I'd have done this better. Obama's just a stupid person. He doesn't know how to do business. This coming from the same guy who said that this useless ballroom that he's been building was going to be completely privately funded. And it was only going to cost $200 million. Then that price skyrocketed to $400 million. Then that price went to $600 million, then $800 million. Now we're over $1 trillion for this ballroom that he said was going to be built by private funds and wasn't going to cost the taxpayer any money. Now he's demanding that Congress give him taxpayer dollars to build this ballroom that he believes the world needs and all of the presidents before him wanted, but weren't brave enough to build. They weren't brave enough to tear down the East Wing to build this ballroom. Why do you need such a massive ballroom? And the fact that you're building this ballroom, saying that we need it because there's been multiple assassination attempts on my life, are you saying that that's the only place that you're going to be celebrating? Is that the only place that you're going to be seen with the public? Because if not, then there's no point in having this ballroom. Because if you're still going to go out to dinners in other places that don't have bulletproof glass, if you're still going to go golfing every freaking weekend on a taxpayer dollar, then this ballroom still does not make any sense. The cost of it skyrocketed over $1 trillion. Makes no sense. But you have to demonize President Obama and his presidential library. Yeah, that tracks.
Stunning breaking news as Donald Trump lashes out because you know why? Obama is more popular than him and he doesn't like it. And take a look at this, Obama's new library. In Chicago, the approval rating of Obama is far more greater than Trump would ever know among the electorate. And seemingly this made Donald Trump very unhappy because he loves to beat Obama in every single way or know how. He is lashing out over Obama and his big, beautiful library that just opened up and that the attention is all focused on this great president. And he also heard about Michelle Obama's beautiful speech and that really ruffled his tail feathers. So this really didn't set too good with him, and that all the attention, like I said, was focused on Obama and his beautiful library and people going in there and enjoying themselves and intelligence and all that other stuff. And word has it online, Michelle Obama 2028.
You're seeing what I'm seeing, right? The president posting about the Obamas like a Klansman at 1 a.m. You see our government transformed into a tool of one man's personal vengeance and power and enrichment. You see the president and his family rake in billions while Americans struggle to make ends meet. You see prices going up while jobs are getting harder to find. You see millions lose insurance and local hospitals shut services while the rich get tax cuts. You see masked federal agents kicking down doors without so much as a warrant from a judge, dragging Americans out of their homes without cause, demanding papers at police checkpoints, assaulting and even killing Americans with impunity from the very top.
Donald Trump is lashing out publicly today as President Obama's library is opening today in Chicago, and new approval ratings show that President Obama is far more popular than President Trump among the American electorate, and that has made Trump unhappy. Trump wants to seemingly beat Obama in any way possible, and while he's lashing out over the fact that President Obama's library is opening in Chicago today, I was supposed to be there, but I couldn't find a babysitter, so I'm here walking a baby instead. But new approval ratings from CNN have come out showing that President Obama is far more popular than President Trump is at this time. 57% of the American public have a positive approval of President Obama. Just 34%, just a third of the American public have a positive approval of President Trump. Just 30% have an positive approval of President Biden. Obama is far more popular than any other president right now, and doesn't make the current president too happy. We'll see how this continues. Spread the word, and as always, follow along for all the news.
So guys, black people have always said this, and for a very long time I didn't think that it actually made sense. But now that I'm getting to learn a lot more about black history and black people and how they live and the things that they do, the things they have gone through in the past, the things that they have had to endure to this point, and who they are, basically what makes up a black person and what they encompass as a unit, as people. Now, they have always said this thing, and I never quite thought about it as a serious issue. Now, black people have always said that President Barack Obama lives rent-free in Trump's head, and I never really made sense of that because I did not have enough evidence to think that that is actually true. Now, watching these videos, I know that you definitely agree to what I have just said, that former President Barack Obama lives rent-free in President Trump's head, because this guy is unable to get over the fact that President Obama was here. His reign was beautiful. People loved him. And we're not talking about Americans loving him. Americans loved him. They adored him very much. But President Obama was this kind of a person that is charming. He was a beautiful, amazing soul. His aura was just attractive. And people even talk about he looked beautiful, he was good looking. And he also was one thing I really love about him was the fact that he was a good orator, and that was his superpower. Now, Obama knew how to get his crowd for him. He knew how to get the concentration of people. He knew how to get the silence out of people. Unlike President Trump, who struggles, a lot of the times he struggles to get people to even listen to him. For President Obama, he planned his speeches, and I don't know if he wrote his own speeches or someone wrote them for him, but his delivery of these speeches were just something out of this world. He knew exactly what to say, when to say, and sometimes he could be having something that he has already planned to say, but looking at the environment, he knew how to read the room, and sometimes he would know exactly what not to say in a given situation. And you see, that is one of the very good and important characteristics or qualities of a good orator. Now, President Obama had all that, and he loved people. He knew how to relate to people. He knew how to relate to poor people. He knew how to talk to poor people. He knew how to make them feel accepted, wanted, accommodated, good, like to feel okay in the environment where he is. President Obama knew how to relate to children. And if you are keen about human beings, you definitely know that they are very particular about your behavior around children. And when people see you having a good relationship with children, knowing how to talk to them, knowing how to play with them, knowing how to encourage them, you see, being a president, and especially a president like Barack Obama, you are in a position where many children are looking up to you. When their parents are talking to them or their teachers, they're actually telling them to work very hard in school, do a lot of reading, they need to work hard in classwork. make sure that they become as important as Barack Obama. Now, you are an icon, yeah? You being Obama, you are an icon. You are a very important, you are a VIP in the world that we live in today. You definitely need to know how to get your way around with children, because these are kids that are looking up to you. They have been taught about you. You are an idol. They're looking at you and they're not even believing that they're close to you, that close to you. Now, when you talk to children and make them feel important, when you make them feel like they can also become you, when you encourage them to know that you were someday nothing and now you're America's president or former president, children are looking at you and learning something from you. They're grasping something. But now you cannot be a president and then you do not know how to get your way around with children or adults, even in that case. You cannot be that, it cannot be that all the time when you're talking in a crowd, you're offending someone. Yeah. Now that is the case for President Trump, because every other time he speaks and people think, why do you speak so carelessly sometimes? Why did you have to say that? Why won't you just like let it slide? You know, you don't have to react to everything. And especially being a leader, you do not have to react to everything. Some things you let them slide because it's not everything you need to react to. There's some things that will just paint you as a bad person. So if you are wise, and I think that is exactly where the problem is, if you are wise, you're definitely going to, know what battles to choose to fight and what to not fight. They always say that as an adult, that is no, that goes for even you people that are watching me right now. It's not all battles that you fight. Some of them you just, you just ignore because you know too well that this is just going to get you into problems. So you do not have to fight all the battles that you get in your life. And for President Trump, he really lacks that. I mean, he tries to fight everything, like the other time when he woke up and posted a couple a couple of comments and posts about President Obama. You wonder, how do you even manage to get time to do such a thing? Because Americans are crying about the economy. They're crying about they are not affording food. They're not affording shelter. Half the people are like a paycheck away from being homeless, and you're there talking about a former president. Like, doesn't make a lot of sense, beats a lot of logic, because you are supposed to be busy thinking about how to make the lives of these people better. How come you in the middle of the night are awake and what you're doing is posting videos about your, that is not even your opponent. That is not someone that is even fighting you. President Obama is wherever he is, enjoying his peace, retirement. He's happy with the life that he has led, his legacy. And you, instead of building your own legacy and making sure that you have things that people will remember you for, things that people will miss about you, you're out there making posts about the other person. There's just a way that doesn't sit right with people. And even though they support you, because I know most MAGA people side with him anyway, they look at you some type of way and think you cannot be serious, yeah? Because you cannot afford to be doing this at this kind of time where people need you to say something about the economy, to say something about the prices of fuel, the prices of food. There's a lot more that needs your attention and not just gossip and whatever that was. Now, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section. And if you have had an encounter or happened someday when you thought really that President Trump has a big problem with President Obama, you can share that with us in the comment section, because one of the other problems is this obsession is caused by the fact that people love President Obama more than they love Trump. But you see, those are not things you can control. If people don't like you as much as they did Obama, then that is not supposed to be bothering you. It's supposed to be okay, because you cannot force people into loving you. You cannot actually force love, yeah? If they don't like you as much, then that's supposed to be okay, and just live with that, because that is your reality and that is what you have to fight. that's what you have to live with. Instead of fighting, just relax, do what you have to do what people elected you to do, fight for them, for their rights and the things that they made you be in that position for. And sometimes when people look at the work that you have done and they realize that you have helped America and you've helped them in a way or another, they will actually change their minds. But now, you choosing to fight these kind of battles does not help at all, because you can never become Obama. You can never be him. You're different in many ways. The way that you look, you're different in how you speak, you're different in how you work, your operations, the things that he did for America are totally different from what you are doing. Not to mean that President Trump is doing everything wrong. No, there are things that he's doing right, but there shouldn't be this element of competition. He should be comfortable in his own skin. He should be okay with the fact that he is who he is, and people will love you for exactly who you are. Because if you also try to mirror a lot, try to mirror someone else, try to be them, people will actually notice it and they will not like you. In fact, it will make everything worse. So yeah, that is basically what I think about this. I would like to know what you think, guys. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this topic, and kindly remember to leave a like, give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Guys, I'll see you on my next video. Bye for now.